Yo, hey guys, it's poppin', Jacques Slade here. Back with another unboxing, and as you can see from the box, I have something special from the good folks over at Puma. If you've been following Puma for, I would say, the last few years, you know that they are making leaps and bounds in terms of what they're doing in the sneaker world. They're really changing the game in their own sort of way. So when they approached me about this video and said, hey Jacques, we want to sponsor one of your videos, I was like, absolutely, I love what you guys are doing. So they sent me their newest silhouette, the Puma Rs X Cubed. Now, many people will see that and think it's RSX3, but it's actually cubed, but that's a whole different story. So let's hop right into these, and they're gonna look familiar to you if you've been a fan of Puma for the last few years. Oh, there's a note. The note says, hey Jacques, welcome to a new dimension RSX Cubed at Puma Sports Style. Thanks, team. Shout out to the good folks over at Puma. Always appreciate the way that you guys support the channel here. Now, this shoe in particular is inspired by what they call puzzles, and I think that puzzle is something in particular, but we're not allowed to say for certain reasons. We can't specify which puzzle that is, but if you have an idea what that puzzle is just by looking at this colorway, well, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. But this is the Puma Rs X Cubed puzzle, and it's based off of the running system of the 80s. So Puma had this crazy running system during the 80s with this cushioning, and they're bringing that back, and they brought it back just in time for like that dad trend that was kind of happening, and they're slimming them down just a little bit. They're still not as fat, as chunky as they used to be, although Pumas never really were super chunky. They kind of walk that line in between chunky and a regular sneaker, and that's where this one lies, a little closer to the thin side. Now, the RSX, the regular one, was one, actually, hold on, I brought it over here. So this was the Puma RSX toys, and you can see when I put these two together that they do look pretty similar, but there are some changes, especially here from the top down. Let's see the top down. You can see that how they switched up the toe box. So this is the RSX Cubed, and this is the RSX, the regular one. And you can see how this one has a little more of a rounded toe box, where in this one they thin it out a little bit and straighten it out a little more. And then, like, if you take the side profile, you'll see that they added some material here. So they have this black section that follows all the way from the heel and goes up towards the toe. They kept the little knobby area right there at the toe, but then the rest of the shoe switches things up. And then, like, if you look at the tongues, so here on the RSX, let's say like the regular RSX, how you have like this big tongue, it has this big tag on it, but then when you go to the RSX Cubed, you see you don't have that. Like, it's literally just this little small thing on the tongue, so you lose some of the thickness of the tongue here, but that's part of them slimming this whole system down and slimming down the look of the shoe. They're also using different materials here. So we have some suede here, we have mesh here, they have suede here on the eyelets, and then they have leather here at the toe. This feels like it's a synthetic leather there at the toe, and then some leather here around the sides. It has a few reflective elements. I don't know if we can make it pop right there, but just right there's a little bit of reflective. And the thing about these is because there's so many lines and shapes happening here on this side panel, you almost lose the Puma form stripe here. It's still there, but because we have all these different shapes kind of happening here on the side, you almost lose it. If you're familiar with the RSX, you'll notice that the eyelets are a little different. There's some changes there as well. And even with the way that the heel looks, they've switched it up a little bit to make it a little more streamlined, and I feel like make it a little more futuristic than that version. The RSX was a little more of an old school vibe to it, whereas the RSX Cubed kind of take things up a notch and looks at it more from, I feel like, a future standpoint. Now this colorway is inspired by the puzzles. I can't say which puzzle it is. I know, and I imagine you guys know by looking at it. Let me know again down in the comments below. But you can see this is a very cool colorway. Obviously it's based in white with a little bit of gray. Then they have the touches of the purple and the blue and the red to kind of accent things up a little bit. And then the outsoles here are very colorful. There's a ton of rubber there on the outsole. So if you plan on wearing these outside, or even if you're gonna run in these because it's based on an old runner, you're definitely going to get some comfort out of these, and you're definitely going to get a lot of wear and tear out of these because that is a ton of rubber there on that outsole. I really love the different colors that they're using, and like this is literally rubber from heel to toe. You get a lot of shoes where there's rubber here, maybe at the heel, and some at the ball of your foot, and a little bit of rubber here at the toe, but Puma gives you rubber the whole way through, which I definitely appreciate as a runner. Now these are just as comfortable as the RSX. The cushioning hasn't changed, so you still have that running system cushioning, and then that has the really plush insoles in here, so you get that extra set of cushioning from the insoles. I mean, look how thick, like you can just see how thick those are. This isn't your ordinary, regular, everyday sort of insole. That heel has a little extra cushioning there. It even has running system right there, so you get a little more confirmation about the actual style of the shoe right there and what it's called. So I, for one, appreciate these. These are supposed to be releasing on November 21st. So if this colorway is something that you really like, make sure you check for these dropping on November 21st. It's right around that whole Black Friday crazy thing that's gonna be happening in a couple of weeks. And I was lucky enough to get an early look at these, and they let me share these with you. So again, big shout out to the folks at Puma. I appreciate you. Pricing on these is $110, which you really can't beat to get you a solid, dope looking shoe. Obviously, this is more of a lifestyle slant and not something you should technically run in, although you do have that option if you want to run in these, but this is definitely more of a lifestyle play, and I appreciate it. I like it. Definitely something I'll be wearing on my show. With that being said, if you like what you see here, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button? Why don't you go ahead and leave a comment? Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? And if you really like what you see here, why don't you go ahead and do me a favor and turn on those notifications. I'm Jacques Slade. This is the Puma RSX Cubed, and again, not third, it's the Cubed. Shout out to the folks at Puma. I appreciate you sponsoring this video. I'm Jacques Slade, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.